Guys, you're welcome back to this video on elements and format of a unique CV. Now, let's quickly have the outline. The first on the list is the contact information, followed by the chronology, followed by education, followed by work experience, followed by the skills, the layout, awards and certification, and the do's and don'ts of a CV. Now, let's get started. The element and format of a CV, of a unique CV, must contain the first thing on the list is your contact information. The contact information has to do with personal things about you. You want to talk about your name, talk about the contact number, you talk about the main address, talk about your email, you put your email, then do well to mention something about your portfolio. At this point, you need to come to the realization that there is no straitjacket to how the content of your contact information should look like. But the stark reality is that it must include each and every of the details provided above. So that is it. The first thing on the list is your full name. Try as much as possible to keep it formal in that it only includes your first name and your last name. That is your name and your surname. So you need to keep out your middle name from this to maintain the formality. So at this point, you want to talk about your contact information. What is so special about it is that you ensure you include your zip code. The next thing is about your address. Ensure you include the street area, the local government, the state, and the country. Your email has to be formal in the sense that it has to indicate your name. But it shouldn't just be a random email that you use for some other applications or registration or subscriptions. But this has to be a kind of email that talks about you. Then the last but not the least, your contact information. You have a website for your corpus or design, then include it. You can make use of mediums like Behance, a WordPress website, or you have a medium where you've always been uploading your work over time. Then put the link there. It can actually freak out your employer about what you've been doing over time. Now, we move to the next one, which has to do with chronology. In the course of building your CV or resume, but it has to do with the sequence of events. We know what chronology means. It has to do with time. The timing is what informs you about how to make an arrangement of events that has happened. So, concerning the resume, what you do basically is that you ensure and are put in sequential order their occurrences in that order, meaning that what happened yesterday has to come, from downward to upward. It has to come before what happens today. Then today will come before what happens tomorrow. So it has to be in that order. Now the next one, I want to talk about your education details. The first thing, know the varieties. It's good when you have different levels of education. You should try as much as possible to put it, especially if you are just a fresh graduate with no working experience. So always know the difference. Put them in order of their occurrences. So then the layout for your education, the first thing that you put is your university name, followed by your degree, followed by your grade. In writing your grade, indicate the percent you fall if it is worthy. If you are one of the top 10 in the class, kindly indicate. Then put your own for them to see. Then if you are top 1% of the class, kindly indicate. It's actually one of the ways you can sell yourself. Remember, resume CV writing is actually a way of marketing yourself, as said by Deborah. Now, the next one is the relevant courses for academic. What are the relevant courses that you've taken over time? You want to talk about it, that are so relevant to you during undergraduate. You want to talk about it. So the next thing is that don't forget to include your final year thesis for academic content. So, we move to the next one. This is about your work experience. So, in work experience, you mention things like internships, both short and long terms, they all count. Then you mentioned something about your group projects. It's something really outstanding, especially when you are applying for scholarship application. However, if it is a kind of group project that you carried out while working in a particular industry, then it is worthwhile to include it, not shying about it. Now, we move to the next one, which is professional experience. You talk about it. Then, how do we have? So, what layout do you use in designing this, in presenting your work experience? The first thing you need to write is to put down the name of the company, then followed by your position as well as the date. Then it now depends on which template are you using to come up with this content. So it is subject to that. If you are using a template whereby the year is underneath, then you have to follow that order. If it is in front, then you have to follow the order. As simple as that. Then, so what about the layout? Simply, all you have to do is to state impact over responsibilities. Mention your achievements, things that you do, but not the roles that you were given as a person. To be able to do this, you have to employ action verbs that will make you appear as an achiever, but not a doer. The next thing is to quantify impact statements with data. Are you a manager? How many projects have you been able to execute over time? And if you happen to be a teacher, how many students have you taught to be successful? Then if you happen to be an executor, a project executor, how many projects have you completed over time? So these are the measures you have to put in place that will make you appear as an achiever, but not a doer. While doing this, one of those things you really want to avoid in your resume is a personal pronoun, as this waters down your resume content. Using bullet points like I completed, I enhance, I optimize, would deliver, and some other ones are shortcomings identified with so many resume or CV writing, CV content. So try as much as possible to avoid it. Don't be a victim to the extent of mentioning the summaries of the company you work with, as this affect the quality of your content as well. The next category is the skills. We have the soft skills, which is a personal attribute that make you so outstanding and attractive at the same time. Then we have the hard skills, which is actually the main job consideration, the reason every employer will want to employ you. So, if you are a computer science graduate, then you want to talk about things like Python, JavaScript, web development. If you are a teacher, they want to talk about your ability to teach and some other things that are relevant to that job. Now, the next thing we talk about is the layout or the format. There are three categories. The first being reverse chronology, the second functional skill-based format, and the third combo format. For the first one, it's suitable for any level of work experience, especially for a new university graduate with an emphasis on academic performance. So for academic excellence or performance, you really want to employ this kind of format for your CV. For the second, is usually for skills emphasis. This format is exclusive for professionals. Then it does have its limitation. So the emphasis is often on skills, which will be the first feature on the resume, followed by the experience, then the last being the education. The combo, as pronounced, the combination layout is unique for its arrangement and exclusively reserved for applicants with 7 to 10 years of industrial or academic experience. You might want to try that. What is unique about this format is simply that experience and skills are put side by side to showcase your competence and experience prospective employers. Now, the next category, we have the awards and the certification. What is the layout for awards? The first thing to come is a title. You put it in bold, followed by the award description, meaning what does it entail, followed by the presenter's name, who presented you the award. Then we have the month and year. Then the next category is the certification layout. So we have just the title in bold, then the month and year. Now we've come to the end of this video for your information. But before we go, there is a takeaway. We want to consider the don'ts and the do's of CV writing. Don't include words like go-getter. If I may ask you, who is goaded? The next one, I'm goal-oriented, hard-working, think outside the box, and some other ones that you could see on the screen. And as well, don't get too fancy with the page of your design. Avoid personal pronouns. Include anything and everything is very risky. Or lie or have mistakes, typo or blunders, and the likes. So the do's of a CV includes words like passionate and motivated, open-minded, experienced. These are words that tag to the counts. And also, you have to take note of the fact that writing for the desired position you are applying for at the top can help you get your resume past the ATS that I already mentioned to you. Then as well, optimize your CV, your resume for a new application each time you want to apply for a new one, as said by a resume coach. So these are things that you need to take care of.